10. Greatest Daytona 500 moments. Number 10.
Daytona, it just keeps getting more and more insane.
Come on, back to the line. Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag. Harvick.
It's one of those Daytona 500 finishes where you're just like, wow.
Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500.
Going into that race, Mark Martin was 0 for lifetime for Daytona.
They all wanted Mark Martin to win.
Everybody thought that if he was going to win a Daytona 500, it was going to be this one.
So as the final laps of that race unfolded,
it was wild.
Martin looks like he's going to win his first Daytona 500.
clearly Mark Martin I thought Mark Martin had to race one.
Got Harvick making a run.
Here comes Harvick.
Here,
Kevin Harvick is the where did he come from?
Mr. Where did he come from?
Where did he come from? Like he was shot out of a cannon.
And the melee takes place right behind him. It's like, whoa.
Still wrecking. They're wrecking everywhere. The big crash started happening behind them. I mean, it's just like the world exploded behind them.
Yeah, I couldn't tell who won.
They're side by side, people wrecking behind them.
Checkered flag. Harvick.
And then you've got his teammate, Clint Boyer.
Clint Boyer on his roof.
On his roof.
Upside down and on fire.
We got one car on his roof coming across the start finish line.
They're still wrecking. They're wrecking everywhere.
Great finish. You got to give it that. Mark Martin looked like he was going to win, and Harvick gets by him.
He was able to just scoot over that line, I mean, by an eyelash.
Another heartbreaker for Mark Martin.
I wanted to win that thing. They were going to have to pry it out of my fingers, man. It just wasn't meant to be. I didn't get the job done.
I actually wish Mark Martin would have won the race, though.
It was so close to a dream come to true race for all of us.
Number 9.
When you dream of a finish, that's the one you dream of.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding.
1976. That's the race. It's almost like the Ali Frazier fight.
The car stops 300, 400 feet shy of the finish line. Pearson is still running.
Petty Pearson, I still think, is the #1 rivalry in all of NASCAR racing history.
Those two names and those two drivers were synonymous with winning.
The 1976 Daytona 500 had one of the greatest finishes ever.
This was the penultimate match between Petty and Pearson.
Nobody knew who was going to win the race.
One would lead, then the other would lead. One would lead, then the other would lead.
It was like, oh my God, this is incredible. Petty makes the pass Pearson.
And Richard had just almost cleared David, but almost.
Both are in the wall.
Pearson sliding through the grass.
They were in a demolition derby or one of those figure-8 races.
Both cars slide to a stop.
Richard slides further than Pearson, and
So he's sitting there in the grass.
Petty trying to fire to come across the line.
Come on, start the car, start the car, start the car.
Petty's trying to get his refired,
and we all run out to push him.
Pearson's car finally coughs back to life.
Here comes Pearson.
In a crumpled heap.
He's just chugging along, trying to get to the finish.
And just sort of limps across the line.
Pearson wins the race. Petty's still sitting there.
The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished.
Probably one of the most exciting finishes we've ever had.
Number 8.
They cross the stripe in what appears to be a dead heat. A finish too close to call.
I mean, a photo finish at the first Daytona 500.
On the last lap of the Daytona 500, 3 cars, 2 of them on the lead lap. It's my father, Johnny Beauchamp, and Joe Weatherly. Joe Weatherly is a lap down.
Off turn 4, Beauchamp maintains the advantage. Dan Petty catches.
As they cross the start-finish line,
You see this incredible 3-wide finish.
it's a photo finish.
They cross the stripe in what appears to be a dead heat. A finish too close to call.
It was so close, you literally couldn't tell.
I think folks at NASCAR probably looked at that finish and thought, now what do we do?
Johnny Beauchamp was initially given that win.
In typical fashion, my grandfather protested because he felt like he had won the race. And it took him 3 days
To find the guy that shot that picture.
If you've ever seen the photo, it's an amazing photo for the time.
T. Taylor Warren took that photo looking across the start-finish line.
But you look at it and you say, yeah,
Lee Petty had actually got to the start-finish line first. Kind of like delayed gratification, if you will.
So 3 days later, they come back and they declare my grandfather to win.
Today.
Somebody said, well, how'd you know you won the race? I threw back when I went across the finish line.
I think, truthfully, Bill Frank Sr. knew who won the race, but they were able to drag it out for a few days. It was a brilliant PR move.
Number 7.
He's running out of fuel. He's coming across across the line slowly, but he takes the checkered flag.
The biggest thing that won that 500, they had the best strategy.
Strategy's always been a part of the sport. 2 tires, 4 tires, gas and go. What are you going to do?
Petty was running a good race. Wasn't, again, dominant car. Didn't lead a lot of laps.
That win came with a call that his crew chief made.
When Petty came in to make that pit stop,
Dale Inman makes the call.
When everybody else was changing 2 tires and 4 tires.
Made a great pit call.
let's just take gas.
They're only adding gasoline and either way, a very quick pit stop.
Come in, gas only, gets him out in front of the rest of the pack.
Gets back out on the track in the lead and never looks back.
A brilliant maneuver by Dale Inman and Maurice Petty.
We were fortunate enough to make the right decision on gambling right at last, and then our luck worked out, so couldn't have been planned any better.
And Richard wins by a pretty hefty margin.
Wins his 7th Daytona 500.
Takes the checkered flag.
How many more Daytona 500s can Richard Petty win?
Here we have a man that's won the Daytona 500 7 times.
Are you? I'm on track on that.
Coming up next, the Jarrett Show How to Win.
The Dale and Dale Show.
Dale and Dale Show.
Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500.
And DW shows how not to.
Wait. This is the Daytona 500, isn't it?
White man can't dance.
When the 10 greatest Daytona 500 moments returns. For the honorable mentions that just missed the 10 greatest Daytona 500 moments.
Rusty Wallace, 20 feet in the air, spinning, crashing.
It was certainly an interesting sight, seeing a car flying through the air while you were going down the backstretch.
Derek Cope drives off to victory. Earnhardt's got a flat tire. One of the most unbelievable things that I think's happened in the sport.
I don't think I've ever seen a car come apart as much as his car came apart. The car went one way, the rear end went another way, body parts were going another direction.
Number 6.
I think he's going to make it. Darrell Waltrip calling the bluff, and he's on his way.
The Daytona 500 in '89 will always be forever my #1 favorite win.
Following Labonte to the line, Darrell Waltrip brings the Tide Chevrolet across.
It's one of those cases where the great athlete reaches that holy grail moment.
He goes from lap 144 to lap 200 without a fuel stop.
He rolled the dice in a big-time way.
I told Hamlin, car driving pretty good. I'm pretty happy. Save a little fuel. If we can save a little fuel, we might be able to stretch this thing out.
Darrell drafted everything there was to draft that day. He drafted a seagull down the back straightaway with about 10 laps to go.
White flag comes out.
Darrell kept calling in, I'm out.
I said, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to.
No, I'm okay.
Hamlin said, just keep going. You're going to make it. You're going to make it.
No, I'm out. It's sputtering.
None of us could believe that he could go that far.
As he came through turns 3 and 4, it occurred to everybody, I think he's going to make it.
Darrell Waltrip brings the Tide Chevrolet across.
Davey.
I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500. Wait. This is the Daytona 500, isn't it?
To see Darrell, the tears running down his face. Darrell Waltrip finally wins the Daytona 500.
What a special day to see my brother being able to finally win the Daytona 500 right up until he decided to do that dumb dance. Only thing I could think of was to do the shuffle, and
it wasn't a very good Icky shuffle.
That was a terrible Icky shuffle.
And he's like,
You talking about white guys can't dance?
white man can't dance.
I love you, Champ, but you can't dance.
I think he does a pretty good Icky shuffle.
Spike the helmet, and the rest is history.
Even though it was a terrible Icky shuffle, it was a great win.
The joy in victory lane and the Icky shuffle and the helmet spike, it was just a day of joy for Darrell.
I guess it's one good thing about it is you'll never be forgotten for doing probably one of the craziest things at that point in time, at least in Daytona history.
Number 5.
Come on, Dale. Go, baby, go.
It's the Dale and Dale Show. Go, Dale.
It was the Dale and Dale Show.
Here he comes, Earnhardt. It's the Dale and Dale Show.
Just could not script the situation any better.
Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500.
There's Ned Jarrett.
Easily one of the most respected gentleman.
A champion himself.
50 wins, 2 championships. Ned Jarrett was calling the race in the booth.
Really wasn't Ned's job that day. He wasn't the play-by-play guy.
They saw this situation developing.
A father gets to call his son's Daytona 500 win.
Let the two of them make the statement about the afternoon.
You can hear the emotion in his voice.
Take him to the inside. Don't let him get on the inside of you coming around this turn.
Ned's usually pretty calm and collected, but that day...
You know who I'm pulling for. It's Dale Jarrett. Bring her to the inside, Dale. Don't let him get down there.
It's the Dale and Dale show. You know who I'm pulling for.
Come on, Dale. You can do it. Come on, Dale. Hold her down there, Dale. Don't let him get under you.
He's going to make it. Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500.
That was one of the best moments in broadcast history.
You can hear him talking about his wife, Martha.
Sitting down in the motorhome.
Oh, look at Martha. Oh, dear.
Martha, Dale's mother,
Was too afraid to watch the race in person.
Poor girl, she needs help.
To have Dale win the Daytona 500 with his dad calling the race.
Dad watching his son.
And beating somebody like Dale Earnhardt Sr., who at that time had never won.
Tells fans what NASCAR is all about.
You did just exactly what you had to do, like I told you, right?
That's right, exactly like you told me all along, Dad. Thanks for everything. I appreciate it. One of those feel-good moments when a dad just could stand there and be just so proud of what his son has just accomplished.
You dreamed that it could be you, but if it couldn't be you, I mean, who better than Ned Jarrett?
Number 4.
You know, at Daytona, you expect the unexpected.
Jeff Green is involved. Jeff Gordon spinning down the inside.
That race just got really wild at the end.
Sterling Marlin, he's got damage. He must have hit Gordon. The race is not over. They're going to red flag the event.
Had the red flag.
It did a big crash.
Sterling's car was tore up.
What does Sterling do? Sterling Marlin has jumped out of his car. He's going around to look at the right front fender.
All of a sudden, you see Sterling Marlin climb out of his car.
In the middle of the Daytona 500.
What's he doing?
Thought he was going to just look at the car.
He starts tugging at the fender.
Obviously, that's a no-no.
That ain't going to be good.
They're on worldwide television.
On live TV.
If there's cameras all around the racetrack.
It's not like nobody's looking.
But, oh, he can't do that.
You can't breathe on it during a red flag.
Sterling said, well, I didn't have anything to lose.
What did he have to lose?
But he wasn't going to win the Daytona 500 anyway because they were going to have to fix some problems.
So there's Sterling trying to pull that fender out.
Finally, the official runs up to Marlin.
Says, hey, buddy, get back in the car.
And they very quickly told Sterling, you got to go to the back of the field for this. I mean,
Ward Burton, who gets his biggest win ever on one of the strangest Daytona 500s ever.
Ward is like, thank goodness he got out to fix his car.
Thought it was a great gamble, but obviously NASCAR didn't think too highly of it.
Oh, Sterling, you can't touch the race car, but that's part of why we love Sterling Marlin.
Coming up next, 500 moments. This is number 3.
And it will be at the line. The Allisons, father and son.
So you knew at some point in time it was going to come down to Allison versus Allison.
And they have enough lead. I believe it is going to be a battle between the father and son.
So I had the car to win the race with, but something happened to the car.
Last lap.
And here's Davey and his dad.
Allison and Allison won too.
I mean, they were both out there to win.
Their feelings were, I don't care who it is.
You didn't know who to pull for.
Okay, come on, Davey, and then you're thinking, come on, Bobby, you win the race.
And you see Davey try to make a move going into 3 and 4.
He's down low. Bobby Allison high. Allison trying the inside move.
it's cool to see Daddy give the son the lesson.
That was a hell of a finish.
They come to the stripe, and the winner, Bobby Allison. Davey Allison, his son in second. What a tremendous family performance.
Race is over with. Davey rides up beside Bobby.
Bobby's got his hand out the window, you know, giving the okay sign.
Congratulations, because Bobby had fought so hard.
It was like their special moment together.
It was well scripted because the dad won.
And to me, what a special father-son moment.
And having the best young man in racing second to you, and that be your son.
It was really good. It was heartfelt. Davey comes to victory lane. Oh, Dad, man, you're the greatest.
Quite honestly, I'm glad the old car broke. I'd have probably been right up in the middle of that. And I've had enough feuds with the Allisons. I didn't need to mess up that days.
It really doesn't get much better than that as a story as well as a sporting spectacle.